Why do you like the music you do? Not generally an easy question, I know, but I can tell you where I get my affinity for classical music, the Commodore 64. Toccata and Fugue, Ride of the Valkyries, Flight of the Bumblebee, the 1812 Overture. Back in the early 80s, when background music was kind of a new concept, lots of different developers wanted to be able to include music in their games, but man, composing is hard. So one simple method was to just convert the generally royalty-free classical music that was pretty easy to find already written down into SID sequences to spice up their gameplay. As a kid, all I knew was that there was some neat music in the background while I played some of my favorite games. Well, come on, I was a kid. Tee-hee. My dad even wrote a program once, and I'm not sure if it was his or something he found somewhere, but it would make the Commodore 64 generate its own music inspired by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. It just plays a few short waltzes and then ends, but I willingly fired that up on a number of occasions just to admire the music. I grew up with the Commodore version of Gyrus, but as I like to do on these features, I decided to check out the NES version. Unlike with winter games, this one actually gives the Commodore 64 a run for its money. The NES version actually has a rudimentary story, a concrete ending, good graphics, and a great rendition of Toccata. Good show, Ultra. You really kicked some butt on this one. Tee. Classical music by SID was only the beginning, of course. The beginning of classical music's use in games, and the beginning of my affinity for Bach, Brahms, and Beethoven. Thanks for coming by. This won't be the last time I talk about classical music in games, but feel free to let me know what your favorites are, either here or on Twitter at TesseractUnfold, and I will see you next week.